On everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Haterade Live, Haterade Hour podcast. Hope you guys are doing good this Friday evening. Got a special guest that you will be familiar to you. Got Ike on the channel. What's going on, Ike?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, thank you. So
Yep.
before we get started, a couple of reminders. Let's have fun. Let's be kind to one another, and let's keep it G-rated. So thank you to everybody that's tuning in live and those who are going to be watching this later. I was just telling Ike, I kind of made a bad decision. Well, it wasn't me. I didn't have control over it. But when I created the stream for this, I didn't realize the MLB was going to put it right in smack dab in the middle of my Astros game. So I'm going to be, if you see me get distracted from time to time, something may have happened in the game. But yeah, so got some things to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about some news in the home theater realm and answer some questions and hopefully have a good time. So I thought that we could kind of start off with some, I guess, channel updates. I don't know if you have any channel updates, Ike, that you want to share, anything that you got in for review, anything that you've done different in your theater. What you got?
Let's see. I finally got one of those nice screens that you set up right before you walk into your home theater. What's it
Oh,
called? The
nice. Yeah.
display screen. So I finally did set one up. So I think
Like
I
a movie
did
poster?
something. Yeah, like the movie poster.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a really nice, cool feature to have. Let's see what else. I'm planning to start doing some live streams. I think the last one I did was about 2 years ago. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing maybe twice a month or once a week, until I kind of just get my nerves kind of steadied out with doing live stuff. And what else? What do I have? I have some gear from SVS for review, and
Did you ever put
I
in that
think
second sub?
yes, I did, and I'm actually working on a video
Okay,
review for it. Yes.
cool.
Yep, and I'm still editing my first home theater tour, so that should be coming out sometime soon. But it's almost done.
Awesome.
Yep.
Got Vincent Tyler in the house. Vincent, thank you for checking in. He says they are tied 1-1. Yes, they are. I've got the ESPN app right next to me. Anything that happens, I'll get it. I just, won't be able to react to it. But yeah. Are you a baseball fan? Are you in Houston? Or are you just watching, keeping track of baseball? Let's see. We got Reggie Owens in the house. Thank you for tuning in. Says already purchased my Arvolution. Nice, congratulations. Arvolution 1 media player. Let's get physical. Confirmed that I was the first US customer.
Oh,
Interesting. That's
look
pretty
at
cool.
you. They better send you a second one for being the first.
Right? Yeah. I reached out to them and they're supposed to be sending one. Hopefully I'll get one next week. I know Shane's getting one, Shane Lee. So I'm excited to see. I saw Youthman's video and it looks really snappy and it basically looks like an updated Zadoo, which if you've seen my videos and I've talked about the Zadoo, I'm sorry, not the Zadoo, Zappiti. It looks like an updated Zappiti. I thought the Zappiti was a great device. I just absolutely hated the GUI. It was so outdated, and then having to like sync to the cloud every single time. Like I hated that. This looks like it's much snappier, which makes me think that it's not being connected to the cloud. Like it's super snappy.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about getting that in.
Yeah, I should be getting one also in. So, but probably after
Awesome.
you guys with the first batch. So thanks to you though. So yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, we got some other people in here. Reggie Owens, nice to see you in the chat. Geotech, it's the Arvolution craze right now. So I think basically is a PD just rebranded. That's a very odd name. Like I don't like that name because it's like, is it Arvolution? Is it Revolution? Like R with an underscore? Like I don't know what they were thinking with that. I don't think that that's a good business model, but whatever. It's good to see that they're back. Obviously, rightfully so. Some people are going to be concerned just because of what happened with Zappiti. I mean, it's honestly, I don't see how they were able to come back and rebrand that fast. Which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So I'll kind of save that. But let's go back to the banners. Channel Home Theater update. So for me, the I've got some Atlantic Technology speakers, a 5.1 that I need that's in the house. Actually, I just unhooked my speakers this morning, put those in there. Haven't even hooked up the speakers yet because they only have the spring-loaded binding post, which I'm a little disappointed. I know those speakers have been out for a while, so I guess it's not like real surprising, but it sucks because I use banana plugs, so I have to
Okay.
actually take all the banana plugs off of the wire and then
Oh,
put put the wire into the spring loaded binding post. And then when I'm done with the speakers, I got to take them back out and then I got to put them. So I was kind of when I saw that they were spring loaded, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a pain. Not that big of a deal. It's just kind of an inconvenience. I've got those in for review. I've got the M&K X15, that big 15-inch subwoofer that Shane reviewed on his channel. Actually, it's sitting right behind me in the box. I haven't even opened that up yet, and I'll probably won't review that until I send that Atlantic Technologies back. But I got that in for review. I'm excited about that. As you know, I've got the Emotiva RMC1 in. I'm probably going to spend some more time with that. I wanted to wait until I got all my Arundel speakers to run. Um, and I'm drawing a blank. The
the
room correction
calibration, the
software.
room correction.
Yeah, and it's I can't remember the name of it now. Somebody will help me out, but I wanted to wait to do that. But like even as it is right now, without doing anything, it sounds incredible. Like I'm so happy with how it sounds. I was telling Ike the only thing that sucks is so they're all XLR,
Yeah.
and my LCR, the very first amp that I bought was Emotiva, and that has RCA and XLR inputs. So this is the first time that I've ever been able to use XLR on that amp. So my LCR is fine, but
Yeah.
because all my other speakers are running off of RCA amps, I'm getting like a ton of feedback, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Can't it's bad. Like it's really loud. So I was telling Ike I'm trying to get some more. Hopefully, I can get some OSD amplifiers in for review, and then if I like them, I can purchase them because those have XLR.
Yeah, they do.
But
So yeah, even though my receiver doesn't, because I currently have the X4700H,
mhm.
I just use the XLR to whatever it's called, the
XLR
regular,
to RCA
yeah,
adapter.
RCA
Yeah,
adapt cable.
that's what I'm using right now.
Yeah.
What's up, Youth Man? Youth Man is in the house.
Is that Michael?
Youth Man says, "I really like the new setup, Ike."
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
the last time Youth Man visited Dallas, they helped me to set up my office space. So
Oh,
I think
nice.
he noticed that there was some difference in that too. So
Yeah, your stuff always looks nice, man. Like you got a clean setup, your desk and your theater.
appreciate it. Thank you. The RMC ones, do they have HDMI 2.1 or is that the
Not yet.
future upgrade?
No. So I asked them about that because the reason why it took so long for me to get it is because they said that they were waiting. So I'm kind of confused because they said that they were waiting for the new HDMI 2.1 boards
Yeah.
with eARC. And so when they shipped it out to me, I was like, "Hey, just so I know for pure information, are these have the new boards?" And he said, "No, it probably won't be to 2024." So like all of the new stuff that they announced, it's not on there. So, but I'm kind of like, well, then why did it take so long? So I don't know, but I don't have HDMI 2.1. I don't know. Maybe there may be some upgraded eARC features,
Yeah.
but the only thing that I really don't like about it is the HDMI, excuse me, the HDMI switching on that thing takes forever.
Forever.
Like it's by far the worst that I have ever seen on any receiver. It's really bad.
So do you
um
just use your room to do the switching, right? Your
yeah,
HD Fury
and
to do the switching now?
that's what I did on my Anthem Arc, on my Anthem receiver anyway. But even with like I have basically I'm using the same way, but the switching on it just takes it takes forever for the handshake to go through when you start a movie, and then after a movie, you get that blank screen. It takes forever, man. It's so I'll be it'll be nice when they come out with the HDMI 2.1 boards, and that should fix it. But yeah, other than that, like that thing sounds amazing. And I haven't had I know that they had a lot of bugs when they first came out, and they seem to have fixed it. The only thing I will say that there's been a couple times, well, quite a few times, if excuse me, if my projector is off before I turn on the RMC1, I'll get like no video. And the only way that I can fix it is to like yank the power cord out of the back of the RMC1 and then plug it back in. If so, now I make sure that the projector is on first, and then I turn on all my equipment. If I do that, it works absolutely fine. I have no issues. But it's weird. Like even with my other receivers that I've had, it didn't matter if the display was on or off. If the display was off and I turn on the receiver and then turn on like it was fine. But with the Emotiva, so that their HDMI boards aren't the best, but as
Yeah.
far as like sound, it's it sounds way better. I didn't know what to expect because I've never had a processor. And as soon as I turned it on, I was like, oh my goodness, this sounds incredible. I'm like, I'll probably gonna end up buying it because I don't want to give it back. But
Yeah. Yeah, I recently put up my Denon for sale, so I'm kind of torn between the HTP one or the AVM 70.
okay, yeah,
Is out. I mean, the HTP one doesn't have the HDMI 2.1, but
yeah,
that's really, I'm not that crazy about the whole gaming and all that anymore. But
yeah,
and then I have the room that works really just fine for that. So I'm really trying to make up my mind and see what else is out there within my budget. Because as much
yeah.
as I love to do a train up or something like that,
I know.
that's not happening, at least not this year. So
Yeah, that won't be happening for me for a long time. And
yeah,
with the RMC1, like how it sounds, I'm like, okay, I could live with this for a really long time and be happy with it. But I think if you do go, I don't know what the HTP1 sounds like, but I think if you do go with Anthem, it'll be a step up. Like Anthem products sound really good. Anthem Arc Genesis sounds like I love my Anthem, but I wanted a processor and I wanted something like I will say, as much as I love Anthem, I guess until I got the RMC1, I didn't realize that I was kind of missing out on something because when I went from Onkyo, because I had all Onkyo receivers before I went to the Anthem, and when I stepped up to, I'm sorry, I had Onkyo and then I had a Pioneer Elite. That was a step up, but when I went from the Pioneer Elite to the Anthem, I was like, wow, this is a huge improvement, like no doubt.
yeah,
So I was kind of like, okay, even though I was using the pre-outs on my Anthem, like I wasn't using any of the internal amps, it still doesn't sound as good as the RMC1 like a processor. So I think it'll be a step up for you if you go that route, and
yeah.
probably the HTTP one too.
Yeah, well, something I find interesting though with the AVM 70, a couple of people that I know have it have recently upgraded to the 90. And it kind of
Okay.
has me curious, like, okay, why do you guys have this that you just got within the last year or two and you guys are already moving up? But I mean, the major differences I can see is probably the subwoofer channel. I think it's 2 versus 4.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Independent.
channel count seems about the same. Yeah, the independent subwoofer channel is still the same channel count. So I'm kind of curious why everyone is just like, okay, I'm moving up from 70 to 90 within like 2 years of having it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I I almost was looking into going to another Anthem, but they're I will say their products are really expensive. So um looks like my Astros just scored, so we're up 2-1. I know nobody probably cares about the Astros, but you might hear me update it. Sorry, it's gonna happen. Like I said, I when I made the stream, the team or MLB hadn't scheduled the times yet. So normally I probably wouldn't have scheduled this during an Astros game, but yeah, they're winning 2-1. So, but yeah, so as far as other channel updates, let's see what else do I have. I think that's all I have in now. Yeah. So I guess let's move on to the next topic. So Arendal, I got an email this morning saying that Arendal is going to be raising prices on their 1723 series again. I think they just raised the prices last year, I think November.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, they're getting rid of they retired their 1961 series. So, oh yeah, and I have those in. Just set those up. I set up the 1961 bookshelves for my surrounds, and then I set up. If you saw my community post, I set up 2 of the 1961 bookshelves. Where did that come from? Who did that?
I know, right?
Somebody must have sent that. I don't know how that happened, but
I
cool.
don't know.
I was like, where do those balloons come from? So yeah, I have those mounted. I haven't mounted the other 2 yet because I'm still deciding. I think I'm going to try to get my dad to help me just make something out of wood to where I can mount it on the ceiling and then angle it, because all of the mounting options that I found, other than what I have right now, and it's still not ideal. I'd rather have them on the ceiling pointing down and aiming, as opposed to coming off of the wall and aiming that way, because I lose a little bit of height. But everything that I found is just, it either, most of them, it doesn't pan wide enough. Like, it's usually like 5 to 7 degrees, and that's not enough. So I think I'm going to try to get my dad to help me build just like a wood like wedge, put it on the ceiling, and then I can attach an actual mount to that and have it just angled down, and that'll be better. But I have that, and then I have the 1723 S monitors that
Yeah.
I need to put in the back. But yeah, they're gonna be increasing the pricing on the 1723s. Not sure what the price is gonna be, but if you're looking to get into Arendal, you might want to do it soon, because I believe in November.
Yeah, I think it's November 13th, 30th or
Yeah.
something. I was like, that's pretty. I got the same email. I was like, that's pretty
Yeah, let me read the
soon.
email. I was trying to pull it up on my Mac, but for whatever reason, it's not. So
Yeah, I'm
let
trying
me
to see
see
if
what.
I can find it too. Um,
Yeah, so it says, we are always, it says, you're not just customers to us, you're part of our community, part of our family. Every step that we take, every decision we make is with you in mind. Skip down. We are always transparent about our prices. We want to give you top unbeatable quality with excellent value, customer care, and also play a part in caring for our environment. Excuse me, in our environment, because we sell directly to you. The forthcoming price adjustment is a direct reflection of the mounting production costs over time and significant currency variances we are navigating. Our consumer direct model operates on much finer margins, making us slightly more sensitive to these fluctuations. Um, and then, yeah, so what does it say the day? Oh, yeah. So it says starting Monday, November 27th, 2023, they're going to increase the prices on not only the 723, but the 1723 S models as well.
yeah,
So, that kind of sucks, but I mean, everything is going up. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I just went to the grocery store yesterday or the day before. I bought like maybe 15 items, and it was like $100. And it's like, man, I'm getting tired of this, man. So, it's kind of just across the board now. Everybody has to raise their prices. I mean, COVID really messed up a lot of stuff with inflation and everything. But let me go back to the comments here for a little bit. Let's see.
yeah. I'm starring some of them if you noticed.
Thanks. Yeah, Youthman was the first show live video. Yep. Yeah, I think we all saw that. So actually, I didn't really. So when he posted it, I was like, oh, this is from Cedia. But then I was like, wait a minute. I don't remember seeing them at Cedia, but it was a Cedia. I think it was
Yeah, the
Cedia Tech
Cydia
Summit.
Tech. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. I think he traveled there for that. So yeah.
I mean, it was like the best kept secret, right? I mean, some people already knew that there was some type of app coming. I think it was the player that kind of threw people off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but the app was like an open secret.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of don't like what they're doing with that. Because from what I understand, the app is going to be available for old Zappiti owners, but it sounds like it's going to be a subscription service, a yearly subscription service. And I think it's like $50 a year. So if you average that out over 12 months, yeah, it's not that much, but I don't know, man. I think they said they're doing that because they're using like a different company for that service, and apparently like it's astronomical for them to have that service. So they're
Yeah,
I get that business, but I'm like that to me that just doesn't sit well. Like if I had as a PD, I would be upset because I'm like,
yeah.
well, why do I have to pay?
Pay for that. I mean,
But
I think it should be a one-time fee. If you want to
yeah,
charge $50
if
one
if that,
time, that's fine. But yearly, just to have posters on my
yeah, if that, and also from what I understand, it sounds like that app will be able to be downloaded on Zadoo and Dune players, but it sounds like it's going to be free. So I would be even more upset. Like, hey, what's but I don't know. So Mike Stevens says we need a head-to-head comparison between the old Zappiti Zadoo and the new Revolution when you can get your hands on one. Yeah, so I'm planning on doing a video on the Revolution, and then I'll probably planning on doing a Zadoo Revolution. I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on a Zappiti. Well, I won't be able to get my hands on a Zappiti. They're not going to send any Zappitis.
yeah.
I had one that a subscriber let me borrow for a couple months. Man, no, why my voice keeps cracking so much. Get some water. But yeah, I doubt that I'll be able to get my hands on one to to do a comparison. But
Yeah, I thought about looking for one just to buy since it's all going out. But
yeah, hey
yeah,
Scott,
it's been kind of
what's up, man?
difficult trying to find one. What's up, Scott?
Yeah, I actually reached out to them like right before they came out with the announcement that they were going to be ceasing production on it. Like I think it was like a day or two before, not knowing anything about it. And I asked if I could get one, so I could review it again. And he was like, well, hold on, because I forgot what he said, but I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And then like literally like the next day, they announced that. So I was like, well, there goes that. Let's
Yep.
see. They did that so the new speakers will start at a higher price point if they are a higher tier. That's probably
Yeah.
why I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, well, since they're getting rid of the 1961 series and they're coming out with something else, they're probably I think you're right on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will just end up buying this current one before the price goes up, and then because obviously the newer model is going to be more expensive. So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and I don't know. So someone asked Bodie McBoatface, thank you for tuning in, says, why are they retiring the 1961? So they're retiring the 1961 for a new line. I have no idea what that new line is. No clue. But they're replacing it. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. I wonder if they're going to be bigger because the 1961 compared to the 1723 is like a huge difference. Very, very like if you see the 1961s, they're still even the height speakers, they're really big. But if you put them right next to the 1723S, it's not even close.
yeah, they need to think about in-wall speakers, man. I think they're starting to get into a market space that is not a lot of users with dedicated home theater space.
Yeah,
So I think smaller speakers and in-walls will be probably, but they're probably not thinking about that right now. They're doing
I know
well
that
with what they
I,
have. So
I've seen them on a couple live streams. I think on Gene's channel, Audioholics, and they said that they've talked about it and they've considered it. And it's not like they're like, no, we're not doing that. But uh, it it sounds like they were trying to say without saying there may be something in the works, but
yeah,
there's nothing concrete. Scott
yeah,
Newby says, "Man, everything is crazy expensive. This is true. It's pretty bad, man. Like it's getting ridiculous." And yeah, I mean, I think the week before last, I spent like $160, and it's just me. And I'm like, man, I'm not buying that much stuff. It's pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, try going to Costco to shop for 3 kids. You'll be
Yeah, I
shocked.
I I have no interest in that. Like,
You'll be,
obviously, I
you'll be
want to
shocked.
get married, but I've never
Uh,
wanted kids, and I'm like, man, I don't know how people are making it. Like,
yeah,
if I'm spending that, I mean, I know I'll probably eat more than most people because, I try to work out and I eat eat a lot more for the calories and stuff. But I'm like, if I'm spending $100 at least a week by myself times two and then or times four, like that's I don't that scares me.
Yeah.
So Reggie Owen says, I own a Zappiti and I'm okay with the subscription fee. I love my Zappiti. $50 to $60 a year is not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, like I said, averaged out over 12 months, that's nothing. But it's the principle, and it's just how it happened. Like, hey, sorry, you can't use your product anymore. But I mean, you could still use it, but you won't be able to use the full functionality of it. But then it's like, well, we're going to come out with something for the previous owners, but you're going to have to pay. Like, to me, that would upset me. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah,
want to pay it.
that's the first thing I
I
thought
don't care
of.
if it was
It's not,
$1 a month.
yeah, it's not the money, it's the principle of it.
Right.
You know, like, don't make people pay for this stuff, man.
It's a poopy. That's funny. Oh my God. What happened? The Rangers are up 42 now. That's not good. Well, I'm glad I didn't see that part, but that's bad. Okay. A fee for an app when I just purchased the Neo last November. Yeah, see, so that really sucks for people that just bought into Zappiti like within the last year. Now you can't. Now it's like, I mean, you can still play, just you won't be able to. You won't be able to have, like, if you want to add new movies to it, it's not going to connect to the cloud and download the album art or the poster art and the the metadata and stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, if you're okay with the $50 to $60, that's cool. For me, I wouldn't want to pay a cent, especially if I had just bought as a PD. So, but it is what it is. Let's see. Zappiti is out of business. The new company is not obligated to subsidize the app for existing Zappiti customers. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they're even coming out with something that Zappiti customers could use. So
Yeah.
it's not all bad, but my dog is expensive enough and loves me unconditionally. Yeah, I have a cat too. So I mean, that's not much. A bag of food can last a couple weeks, a month, but yeah, stuff's getting pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean, if in the near future we're not able to buy Blu-ray disc, we'll have bigger troubles to worry
Yeah.
about.
I am
That's a beauty. So.
I am not
Yeah.
looking forward to that future. Like, to me,
Yeah.
that's like a dystopian future. I have no interest. I'm subscribed to Disney Plus that I pay for, and then I have Amazon Prime Video because I have Amazon Prime. If it wasn't for Amazon Prime, I wouldn't care about Amazon Video. Like, I have no interest in subscribing to like 10 different streaming services just to watch like one or two shows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my biggest challenge. I can never seem to find anything. Last night I was scrolling through Prime. I'm like, man, can't find anything.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, I know that that's the future, and I will agree that it's good to have those services, but I don't want to have to be reliant on just that, because I want control of my media, and I know technically we don't own it, or like basically the studios are leasing it to us, but I also want the highest quality possible. And I had a discussion with somebody in my comments the other day, and they were saying, or I think it was on LinkedIn, and they were saying like, oh, streaming is the future, this and that, you can get high bit rates. I'm like, yeah, you can get high bit rates, but you'll never be able to have, everyone won't be able to have the same experience because of varying differences in your ISP. I don't even have access to like AT&T fiber. Like, I have no access to fiber in my neighborhood. So even if I wanted like the best possible quality, I can't get it. I mean, I have pretty good internet with Comcast, but think about people in different parts of the world or different parts of the country who can only get maybe 10 megabits per second downloads. Like, that's the thing with streaming. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe you can get 80 megabytes per second on a stream, but that doesn't mean that everyone's going to have access to it. With a disc, you don't have to worry about that. And you can rip it, make your own media server, and be done with it.
Yeah, and I think the idea that these companies are somehow going to focus on those of us who are the quote unquote enthusiasts who are in this community over the larger market is almost delusional, right? Netflix is not going to wake up and like, yeah, we got to get this guy, so let's go give
Right.
them this premium 4K bit rate over people in other countries and even within the US where you have good internet, you know. So at least with the disc, everybody, you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
And then you can work with that. But to assume that the companies are just, even though the technology is improving, to assume that they're going to focus on the minority that have 1 gig and 2.5 gig over the majority, nah, I
Yeah.
don't see the financial sense to that.
No. Yeah, me either. It's never gonna happen. Never.
Yeah,
Oprah Winfrey says, I think the same size as the 1723 with better drivers demonstrating. So he's talking about Arndal. I don't think that that's going to happen. One, because if they're so they have the 1723 S and the X, 1723 and the S. They have THX. I think it's Ultra. I have to look on the back of my speakers. I don't know what THX charges companies for that, but I'm assuming that the 1723 line is still going to be their top tier line. So I don't see them putting dominance on something that's like if they're replacing the 1961. I'm assuming it's going to be a step down from the 1723, and I highly doubt that they would put dominance on that if their top line doesn't have dominance. And I'm assuming that whatever licensing fee they have to pay, I'm sure that's not cheap. So that would
yeah.
just drive up the cost. So I don't see that happening, but we don't know.
I mean, I mean, they might lean towards it because I think when people look at Arundels, right, it's almost like a competitor to the Pearlissons in to a particular extent, right? People look
Right.
at both as premium brands, but the Arundel seems to be just a notch lower on the affordable side compared to Pearlissons. So yeah, why not? You know, I
Yeah.
think they're doing well in the market share. They're growing really quickly. So go out there, see if you can get those that market space that people that want that type of status,
Right.
THX, Dominus, and all of that. So why not take a risk, take a chance?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's like a upper Perlicin is great, but that's like a super upper echelon niche product that the average consumer just can't afford. So I don't think it's Arndal's business model to aim for that. They're I think they're gonna sit right where they are, you know, right now. So Oprah Winfrey says, "What's up with the K-Skate cowboy?" Good question. So so when I got I was talking to Ike about this. When I got the Kaleidoscape, I was under the impression that when I got it, it was already going to have movies on it from Cedia because that's what they were waiting on. They were waiting for Cedia to end so that they could get their players back and send them out. Because the one that I had before, for very briefly, it was also used at Cedia and it had like all the demo movies on it. So when I got it, it was logged out of the account from Audio Advice, and then there was literally 10 movies on it, and two of them were like one was Top Gun Maverick and another one was another like demo movie. The rest of them were like these no name weird movies. On top of that, I couldn't even play I couldn't even play the Top Gun and the other movie that I would even want to play because I had to create my own account. Once I created my account, I still can't play it because it's tied to Audio Advice's account. So I'm like, I'm in a dilemma here because I don't want to like put hundreds of dollars into movies on this thing when I have to return it. Like that doesn't make that doesn't make sense to me. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna wait until November, like Black Friday, and see if there's like if it's like $10, whatever, if there's some good movies that I could use. I probably already seen them anyway, but if I could use them for review purposes, I'll probably do that. But like I have no interest in spending like $30 or $40 for probably a movie that I already have or a new movie and then just send it back. Like I'm
yeah,
basically throwing my money away. So like I said, I was under the impression that it was going to have movies on it. So I'm kind of in a pickle on that.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying to find where I could get one for review, but after we spoke, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'll probably only want to review it if I plan to keep it.
yeah,
Because why would you pay for the movies and once you return the unit back, then what happens to you?
yeah. I should have. I guess I should have asked them like, "Hey, is this gonna have movies on it?" Or so like literally, I haven't even used it. Like I've looked at it a couple times. I created my account, like all that stuff. I can go and purchase movies. I'm just like, man, I'm
But
hesitant because
don't they have like free, you know how some of these products have like free movies from the 60s just sitting around? Don't they have anything like
yeah,
that? It's like a
and
free.
I think a couple of those movies that are on there are kind of like that. But I looked at them like, one, I don't know what this movie is. Two, I have no interest in watching this, and like, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna get any benefit of using this for for review material. So, like I
Yeah.
said, I'm probably just gonna wait until Black Friday and see what their prices are like. And even if it's like something that I already have in my library, if it's like $10, maybe buy a couple movies, 5 or 6 movies, and get more out of my money, even though I'm gonna have to give it back. But that's the deal. That's what's going on with that. There was another one that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I
I want
wanted to,
one though, so I need to start saving up so I
yeah,
can get one.
they're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
Let's
They're not cheap.
see.
And it's not top of my priority right now. I think
Yeah,
a couple of things I need to change in the home theater first, right?
right. Like, yeah,
Get a
there's other
better
stuff.
projector, then get the case and all that kind of stuff. So
Same. Let's see. Yusuf says the worst thing is that the new brand, speaking about Arvolution, will not provide any firmware support for the Zappiti players. The strange thing is that the new player identical to Zappiti Neo. Yeah, man, it's a really weird situation. I'm gonna guess since they had to cease production, they probably legally can't. Like they probably can't provide any firmware updates. It seems like it's just in a limbo, man. It's like a weird. That whole situation is weird. Like the fact that they shut down production on the Zappiti, like Zappiti is no more. And then for them to like turn around and start a new company, and then to be like, hey, we have this app that the previous Zappiti owners could play. Like it's a really weird. I hope that they succeed with this new player, but I'm kind of wondering if what happened is going to hurt their um, sales for the future. Because I mean, rightfully so. A lot of people are upset. Some people are okay with the new app and having to pay, but I don't know, man. But yeah,
yeah, I think they have to decide if they want a clean break from Zappiti and move on with what they have now, or try to find a balance with still attracting the previous customers and then moving them over to this new one. So it's going to be, yeah,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
yeah, and I'm gonna guess that if it's not the main reason, I'm gonna guess that partly the reason is probably legally they can't. Like if they had to
Yeah.
stop production, like why would they be able to? Like, hey, you can't produce this anymore, but sure, keep sending. It's not like Oppo when they shut down, they just shut down because they didn't see, any point in they weren't making any profit from what I understand, but they were like, hey, we're still going to support, for a couple years at least firmware updates and stuff. This sounds like they got in trouble and they had to stop production. So like
Yeah.
you can't do this anymore legally. So I'm assuming it has some legal ramifications if they were to do that.
Yeah, but I wonder, is it geographical though? Because they're selling the NAS, right? But they're
Yeah.
not selling it in the US.
So yeah, let's go
So
ahead
I
and talk about that.
wonder, yeah. So I wonder if they're restricted in certain areas, and then, you know, if you can sell the NAS in the US, I wonder how you can sell it in the EU.
Yeah, it's they have different licensing overseas because I don't think that's illegal because I saw that and I was like, isn't that the same thing they got in trouble for? But they're not selling it in the US, so probably can't. But yeah, so this is the new player, Arvolution. Again, really weird decision on the name. Like, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Is it Revolution? Is it Arvolution? If it is Arvolution, that's weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that. But this is a new player. Let me make this
I
full
guess it's an
screen.
evolution for them. So
Yeah. So this is a new player. It's got Dolby Vision HDR10 Plus. This is what kind of caught my eye. RO3D. So this is interesting because one, um, you know, I would love to try out RO3D. In fact, I have an RO3D demo disc. However, I don't have any hardware that can decode it. So when I play it, it just comes out as DTS. So I think it's
yeah,
kind of like Dolby, where the base layer is DTS, and then they have the RO3D
yeah,
metadata on top of it. But I know that you can buy stuff on the UK Amazon, but it's
yeah,
kind of weird that they include. I mean, I think it's good that they include more for the customer for the price, but I don't know how many people are actually going to utilize other than like Denon and Marantz and maybe some high end processors that can decode it. I think Denon and Marantz are the only ones that are really like mass producing receivers and processors that have. Does yours have RO3D?
yeah. The Denon
Okay.
47 does have RO3D.
So here's the
So
next question: do you have any RO3D content?
yeah, I have a couple of Blu-ray discs that I get also from Europe,
Okay.
and also a couple of demo discs that we got from Wilfred. So
Okay.
yeah,
But see, that's the
but that
thing. You
yeah,
have to buy it on Amazon. Like, it's not like, oh, when I buy this Blu-ray disc, it'll have Dolby, Atmos, and DTS. Like, you have to go to Amazon UK. So I guess it makes sense to have it over in the UK if they're selling the same player in both
yeah,
US. But I don't really see many people actually being able to utilize RO3D on this thing unless you have a receiver capable. But even then, I feel like even those people who have one that's capable, like you said, you only have a couple discs.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah, there's market for Oro 3D in the UK, not
right,
in the US. I think
it's big
it's a
over there.
foregone conclusion in the US, but in the UK, yes, a lot of the movies that I see, it's just that many of them are either in Dutch and local. You have to get the one that has the translation to English for you to be able to buy them. But yeah, I've seen a couple of them, just not for the US market.
Yeah, like I said, I have a RO3D. I've had the RO3D disc, man, probably. Let's see, I've been at my house, this house for next month is 5 years. I probably had that thing for almost 8 or 9 years, and it sounds great when I play it, even though it's not being decoded. But I just I don't have a receiver or anything that can decode it. But this is the player. So you've got HDR10 Plus, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, R3D DTSX. Let's see anything that stands out. Here's the chipset, processor. So I mean, it's probably not gonna be too much different from the previous Zappitis. But one thing, if you watch Youthman's video, the interface looks way snappier and it's updated.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
see.
it's HDMI 2.0. Yeah, that makes sense.
Ooh, really? Where does it say that?
HDMI
HDMI
version.
2.0B. See, I don't know why they would. I mean, again, if you're buying this to watch movies,
Yeah,
you
you don't care
that doesn't
about
really matter.
HDMI.
What
Yeah.
I want HDMI 2.1 for those for the eARC with the HDMI, because with HDMI 2.1, you're not supposed to get a black screen. Like if everything in your chain is HDMI 2.1, it should just play.
Yeah.
Like there should be no
Play.
like you hit
The
play,
handshake
black
should be
screen, handshake, and then it plays. So
yeah, but it's 2023. We're almost in 2024. If you're releasing a
right.
new hardware, just put 2.1 on
That's what I
there.
say.
Just put
That's
it. You're charging us anyways. Like, just put it on there.
yeah.
Yeah. Whether we use it or not is not your problem. Just put it.
Yeah. I mean, if you put RO3D on there, I mean, like
Yeah.
go ahead and just put HDMI 2.1. But VS10. So the Zappiti players also have this. Oh, so before I forget, in my video of the Z20 Pro, I mentioned that I was having an issue connecting to the hard drive in the Z20 Pro over the network from my computer. That is now fixed. Someone emailed me this morning and was like, "Hey, I watched your video. I had the same issue. I emailed Zappiti, and they emailed me back they had so basically you have to download an update because even if you try to update it on the actual device, it doesn't update to the latest one. So they sent them a downloadable update that you put on a flash drive or hard drive, and I was like, hey, can you send that to me? So they sent me the link. I downloaded it, uploaded it to my Zadoux, and now it works. I tested it out. It works over the network. The only thing I'm still having an issue with is I can't get the ZIUI Cancer skin to download. It says that it downloads, but it doesn't work. So I emailed them. I was going to ask you, did you have that issue on yours? Have you tried to like send files over the network to your? I mean, I know you don't have an internal bay, but I don't know if you have a hard drive like
Yeah, I
connected
have
to
a
it.
hard drive, and I've not had any issues with it.
So maybe it was just the Z20 Pro, but it's fixed now. So if anybody is having that same issue and they need it, just like send me an email. My email's on my YouTube channel on about, and I'll send you the link to where you can download that. So really there's really not too much new with this other than the new interface and snappier GUI. So it should be pretty much the same, I guess, as the Zappiti Neos. Comes with a hard drive slot and the new interface. So I'm happy about that because, like I said, I hated the previous Zappiti GUI. Let's see. Remote. I don't remember. I think this might be the same kind of remote.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
I think it's the same. I have to go back and watch my video to see what the remote. Yeah. So you got dual HDMI outputs.
You finally brought that back, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people are using that for. Like, well, other than the audio,
we're not going to talk about the possibility that
the audio makes sense. Like if you have legacy equipment and you need two separate, but like the HDMI in for video, like I don't understand I didn't understand why they put it on the Zadoux in the previous model, and it wasn't even HDMI in. It was basically just like a picture in picture. I'm like,
picture.
Why would I use this? So modern user interface, fast and powerful, animated background. So apparently that's new. I think before you had to like, I don't know if jailbreak's the right word, but I think I know they had updated some of the players to where you could get video. Like, and I'm not talking about like a trailer, but just like a video. So I don't know if that's new on like everything. I don't know if it worked on like all of the movies. I think it was only like some. Let's see, movie soundtracks, multi-room. Yeah, I mean, the new features don't really look like they're anything, or the new player doesn't look like it's really anything new. So home automation or integration, you've got Elin, Savant, Harmony, Control 4, Creston, RTI Pro, and I don't know what those last two are.
Yeah.
See, audio video sync.
Yeah, it's the standard. It's what do you think about the pricing though for the player?
So I think it's about the same price as the Neo, which okay, but I still would like to see that price. Like when you look at what Zadoux, I actually think, and I don't. Hopefully they don't watch this. I actually think they may be underselling a little bit. Like the pricing is awesome. I mean, less than $300 for the Z9X Pro. I think mine was $3 something for the Z20 Pro. Like their pricing is so much more affordable. So I would like to see them come down on price to, at least around $500 to $600. I think $900 is still a little bit steep, especially now with everything being so expensive. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything that really stands out. And another thing, if you can get this interface on Zadoux, some people might be like, well, why would I buy Zappiti anyway? Or not, sorry, Zappiti Revolution. But I think it'll be cool to have this because even with the ZIUI Cancer, everything else is still the same. And I like it, but I think this would look cooler. So with the new Zadoux players, with the new chipset, maybe they'll be able to handle that stuff and it'll be pretty snappy. But yeah, that's the player. I mean, chassis looks like it's pretty much the same, just a different, logo. So let me stop sharing this. Okay. So let's go to the comments, see if I can catch up.
Yeah, I started a couple of them. So.
Okay. Your product is sometimes cheaper to leave the RO30 chip in it versus taking out. Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's up, Techno Dad?
What's up, China?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Astros are still losing, so kind of glad that I didn't watch that if they don't win. But for anybody that cares, they're losing 4-2. Let's see here. This was an internal battle between owners of Zappiti. This has been in the works for a while. You can't just rebrand without approval from the previous owners of Zappiti. Again, man, that's a really weird situation. I don't know how they're able to just come back and be like, basically, like, here's the same product. We just called it something else.
Some of the guys worked in the same company that made Zappiti.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Raphael, the one
I
like our
don't even know
contact,
how. Yeah,
he's the same. It's the same dude.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know how different it is. It's to me, it's a rebranding, and hopefully, it's one that's here to stay. So,
yeah. Beefy says I suffered with 28.8 for several years. I think he's talking about ISP speeds.
Ethernet
Man,
speed?
that's
Yeah.
and maybe back in the day that was probably like fast, but that's pretty. Let's say I have 2,000 up and down. I'm super jelly, so that sounds like you have fiber. Because even when I first moved into my house, I had Comcast gigabit, and the best that I could get on upload was like 45. I've never understood why Xfinity does that. Like they don't match their with fiber. Like I should be getting way more. I should be getting close to 1,000. But with fiber, you can get. I've seen some crazy stuff, man. I've seen it where the upload speed is faster than the download speed.
Yeah, I have fiber 1 gig up and down,
Nice.
and AT&T just added 2.5.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
but it's
Yeah.
almost twice the price. I'm almost
Really?
tempted to try it, but I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
1 gig up and down fiber is just great.
I would be fine with just five. Like that would improve my uploads. Like uploading YouTube videos, that would like I could upload a video probably in like a couple minutes. And then I mean, like sometimes if I create a video or upload a video and if it gets flagged or it gets hit for something to copyright, I've got to go back, edit it, and then re-upload. And sometimes it takes 7 or 8 hours, if not more, depending on the size, to upload. So then I got to do that all again. Like, but I don't even have access to fiber in my neighborhood.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of whack. Let's see here. As home theater enthusiasts, we take risks every time we buy new hardware. Companies go out of business every day. They're not obligated to. I think did I show that one already? Maybe I did. Hello, guys. Hello, C Big. You're just buying your movies in the K-scape now for the future. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, even if I do buy some, like if I ever do get to buy one, then I'll have them. But that just doesn't sit with me. Like to spend 30, 40 bucks a pop and then be like, oh, here you go. Because then I'm like, if it's a movie that I don't have, well, then I'm gonna want that movie. So then I'm gonna have to buy it again on Blu-ray. So it's like I don't want to do that.
It might motivate you though. Just drop like $1,000 on movies, and then you'll be like, you know what?
Right.
Now I spend this much. I got to get me a K-scape.
Right.
That's all the motivation you need.
I won't have any money for the K-scape then. Can I use a hush box with a laser projector? Can I use a hush box with the laser projector? I mean, I'm using one with mine, but it's a makeshift. It's not anything fancy and it's not professional. But I also haven't. My plan was to close it off and excuse me, put some theater glass in front of it so that obviously it can project through, and then put like a gas shock on it so that I can open it and close it. But when I got the LS12000, I was like, oh wow, this is really quiet. So I haven't done it just because I haven't really needed to. But yeah, I mean, you can use a hushbox with anything. It's just make sure that it's well ventilated because those things put off heat. So if you close it off and it doesn't have anywhere to, return air or intake, you're going to damage your equipment with that heat. Zappiti saga is detailed in the French courts. There's a lot of legal stuff going on, and I'm not familiar with French law. Yeah, they got in trouble for something. I'm pretty sure they got in trouble once they released that NOS that you can rip your movies on directly to in the US. I think that's what got them in trouble, because that's illegal, and technically it's illegal for us to burn our own movies. But the problem comes is if you start profiting from it and selling it. If I was to burn a bunch of movies and sell it, yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble. But I mean, that's basically what they were doing. They were making a profit off of it, and those movie corporations, they don't like that. So you take money from movie corporations, they're gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
Let's see. At Vincent Tyler, sup, VT and the high-end home theater enthusiast, Haterade Ike. What's up, man?
What's up, Philly?
Your product is sometimes cheaper. Okay, we already did that one. Let's see. You're allowed to say GUI instead of GUI. Yeah, I flip back and forth sometimes. I say both. The remote is identical to the Zappiti. Yeah, it looks like it. I think it may maybe just be more black, but let's see. The later Oppos had HDMI input so you could utilize their internal upscaler. Yeah, I actually love that feature. However, I always had an issue, and I don't know if it was isolated. I think I found someone else that had the same issue. Whenever I would use it, yeah, it worked great. But if I was to switch between, like if I was to start watching a movie using the HDMI input, like if I had because what I did was I was using my NVIDIA Shield and I plugged it into the HDMI in of my Oppo 203, and it looked great, looked better. But if I was to start like watching Dolby Atmos and then I switched over to DTS-X, the sound would cut out every single time. And vice versa. If I started watching a DTS-X movie, or it didn't even have to be DTS-X. If it was DTS and I switched over to Dolby Atmos or Dolby, I would get no audio. I would have to physically unplug the power cord from the Oppo. And I was like, I'm not doing this every time. And so it kept happening enough where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop using it. If I played nothing but Dolby, it was fine. And so I emailed them. I was like, hey, man, there's this issue I'm having. So they had me send them like these test. I had to send them like Dolby Atmos test files and stuff. And it never got resolved. And so I was pretty bummed out about that because I loved the feature. It just, there was that glitch. And it also happened to over the network and on hard drives. So for some reason, with a disk, it was fine. But if you used any other than disk, it would do that. So I was like, whatever. And then it never got fixed. And then when they announced that they weren't making them anymore, I was like, well, that's never gonna get fixed. So I just never used that. Let's see. This dude won't play half my ISO or BDMVs. Can we just get something that works? Man, I agree with you, dude. It seems like with any product, even in my home theater, whether it's my processor, whether it's a disc player, there's always something wrong with one of the products. And it's just like, man, why can't we just make a product that works? It's frustrating. I'm with you on that. Techno Dad.
I mean, that's because software updates have become like almost full-blown product releases, right?
Yeah. Well,
like now you literally see companies go out there and announce updates.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they make it a really big thing that, hey, you're about to get an update. Like, bro, just give me something that works.
Yeah. Well, and now we're basically beta testers because they can just ship something out because they want to get it out at a certain time. They want people to get it. And then, we'll worry about bugs later. And then we'll which is nice that they have that ability because, 30 years ago, they didn't have that. You ship a product. Oh, there's this huge bug. We'll just have to wait until the next update of that product. And then your product is obsolete. But yeah, I don't want to be a beta tester every time a new product gets released.
Yeah. If they give you a working Z-Do channel, what are they going to give you next year, man?
Right.
Oh, man, they got to release something next year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have. I would say every single other than speakers, every single product that I have in my home theater, I have something. I have some issue with it at some point. Every single device, and it's like, man, one day it may be the projector. Like for whatever reason, I'm not getting video. I gotta unplug it and plug it back in, and then it works fine for 6 months. Or if it's my HG Fury, like sometimes like there's always something, and sometimes it's just a simple fix of unplugging the cable or rebooting. But it's like sometimes it takes 15 to 20 minutes to figure out which product is it that's causing this issue. Like I don't want to deal with that at all. You pay all this money. I mean, they can do it with cars. I know cars have recalls, but I think about that sometimes, how like think about how many cars they mass produce. And if you look at just one company, typically you don't hear about like bad stuff happening with car, which I mean, they have to make sure that's right, because people are, I mean, you're talking about people's lives. They're driving this car every single day, but they're able to do it with cars pretty much. I don't know what the percentage is on how often cars, have like major issues where like, oh, someone died, but you typically don't hear about that. So I'm like, if they can do that with cars, why can't they do that with everything else that's technology?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, New York. I'm not sure what that's in. Is he in New York? I don't know what that's in reference to. Hi, Beefy. Hey, Oprah. Let's see. Verizon Fios. I don't have access to that either. I think I had looked into that one time, but yeah, I don't have access to Verizon Fios, however you say it. AT&T fiber. I don't have access to any fiber. The only thing I have access to, I have access to AT&T, but not fiber. And I've had AT&T before, and I was at my parents' house, and I was like, never again. Like, no offense to anyone that has it, but if it's not fiber, like AT&T is trash. I was like, I'm never signing up for them again. So I have basically all I have is Xfinity, and I mean, like I said, it's okay. I don't really need anything more than what I have, but I would like fiber. And since I'm on YouTube and I'm uploading all the time, it would be nice to have that.
Yeah. A good secret is to call them and ask for a business line,
Hmm.
so they don't put you on the public.
Are you talking about Xfinity? Or
Most a lot most companies, most of the providers, they usually have dedicated lines for businesses, right? Because
hmm.
they're providing Ethernet for businesses. Those ones are usually dedicated,
Okay, but it's
and they put
expensive
all
though.
their time.
At
Yeah,
least
but
I,
it's
at least I
it's
know
one of those.
Xfinity. It's like when I had gigabit, I had it. I think it was discounted for they give you Xfinity always does we'll give you this price for a year, and then after a year it goes way up. So you either
Yeah.
have to like go on another contract. But I remember looking at it because I remember seeing the business, and it was they did have higher than a gig, but it was like twice the amount of what the gig was, and I'm like, I wouldn't pay that. It was like a couple $100. I'm like, no, there's no
Okay.
way. I have 30 megabytes upload. So you have more than me, man. I have 400 down, and I get like 11 or 12 up. It's ridiculous, man. Hulk Cinema says, in terms of media players, the Zappiti Ultra HD 5000 is the top player at this moment with the Z26 following. Z2600.
Yeah, the 2600 looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with mine now. And now that the issue's fixed with being able to transfer files over the network, that's a huge benefit. Let's see. TechnoDad says, what I think happened is the Zappiti NOS has the legal issue, which was tied to the company. So maybe the rebrand with no NOS is keeping them out of Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. And they have the NOS, but they said it's not going to be released in the US. But I don't know if it's like, I'm assuming because it's the same product where like you can just rip straight to it. But apparently that's not an issue over in the UK. But I think you're right. I think that's what got him in trouble. So I'm sure maybe the lawyers were like, hey, if you rebrand, like it's going to suck. Shut down production on Zappiti, rebrand under a new name, and just don't ever release that NOS in the US, you'll probably be good. So that sounds like that's something similar to
Yeah.
what happened. At the panel, the HDMI in is for recording from any other device to the internal or external storage. So yeah, I think he's talking about the Zappiti. Yeah, because you can't record on it. I just like I don't know why I would ever want to use that feature. Like, who's using that while they're watching movies? I mean, I guess if you want to capture something, but I have a capture card. Like, that seems like a complicated setup just to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, that's what I'm saying. No issues with the NOS. Yeah, yeah. The NOS. I think that NOS caused them a lot of issues with that releasing that in the U.S. Oprah Winfrey says, "Techno, I agree. I'm in the medical field. Some doctors get in trouble with Medicare, and all they do is charge the name or the
Change the name.
office and reopen." Interesting.
That's wild, man. Do they keep the same patients? They're like,
I
oh
don't know,
yeah, they
man.
just got shut down, so let's go.
That
Let's go
sounds
back to
like
our doctor.
that sounds like a I don't know. That sounds like an issue that I wouldn't want to deal with. Zappiti going through their drama in Best Buy. You have people saying physical is dead, but at the same time we are seeing Disney and others put yeah. So I don't think physical media is definitely dying. I don't think it's dead yet. And I remember, is it Bob Iger, the head of
The
Disney, came out
Disney.
a few
Yeah.
months ago and said that they were going to start releasing some of their series, like their TV series, on discs, like Loki, Mandalorian. I think comes out in December, which I'm gonna pick that up. And there was something else, but I was like, oh well, finally, like we've been screaming at the rooftops for years, like, hey man, discs, discs. So if Disney's going to be doing it, then I think they could probably single-handedly keep that. Like, if Disney was like, "Hey, we're going to keep this stuff alive," I think Disney has the power and the resources to do that. And it's not like Best Buy; they're just not carrying them anymore. It's not like other
Yeah.
corporations, movie corporations, are like, "Hey, we're not releasing stuff on disc. It's only going to be streaming only." So it's not dead, but it is dying. I mean, 3D is dead pretty much. Yeah, some companies, movie corporations still release stuff on 3D, on Blu-ray, but you can't buy a TV with 3D anymore. The only way you can get a 3D is on a projector. So
Yeah, there's still a global market for physical media. That's just the way I want to look at it is
yeah.
that's a huge market. Asia, Europe, Africa. There's a huge market for physical media, man. Like
Hmm.
I, it's dying. I think it's first world problems in the
Right.
US, fine, but it's out there. There's plenty of market, and I would like to think that it's getting cheaper to actually make physical media. So why
Yeah.
would you even run away from it? It can't be more expensive making physical media anymore. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And who knows? You never know. Maybe in the future, there probably won't happen, but there could be a boom in discs, and Best Buy decides, hey, we want to start carrying this again. You never know. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But if you are, you know, or if you do want to support this, go buy them,
Yeah,
man.
go buy it. Yeah,
I'm
go
not saying
buy
to go
it.
buy everything because I don't buy everything. I buy the stuff that I want. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm always gonna buy discs as long as they're available.
yeah, go buy it. And I think Best Buy might still somehow sell them online. They just wouldn't carry them in the store because nobody goes into the store
Yeah.
anymore. So that
Well, they're
makes
not
sense.
selling them on in store or online. That was my thing. I was like, if
That's
there's
crazy.
as long as they sell them online, like okay, I don't have to go into the store because I always like to just buy it and then pick it up because it's on my way home from
Yep.
work. And I used to work at that Best Buy 20 years ago. I've been going there for what 23 years. There's a couple people in there that were working there when I started and are still working there. So every time I go in there, they're like, we're like, we have that exchange. It's funny, the lady, Miss Lynn, normally you're supposed to get the person's ID and check it. Like whenever I come in, she's like, she tells everybody, she's like, you don't need his ID. I know him. She just goes and gets my stuff and gives it to me. So I will miss that. But the fact that they're not doing it online either, it's just kind of like, oh man. So now I'm gonna have to rely on like Amazon or Walmart, which I hate going into Walmart for anything. I think I go into Walmart maybe like 2 times a year only because I literally have to and I have no other option. And then Target. There's a Target not too relatively far from me, but I don't ever go there either. So I'm probably just gonna rely on Amazon. My fear is that they're gonna start charging more for discs now that Best Buy. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but typically whenever there's only one or two places selling it, they don't have any competition. So it's like, well, we can sell whatever we want. If you want it, you have to pay this price. Hopefully that doesn't
Yeah.
happen, but
Well, if there's really a market for Zappiti, then there should be a
yeah.
market for Blu-ray physical media. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you're buying a Zadoo, if you're buying a Dune, if you're buying our Revolution now, like you have to buy disc anyway. I mean, that's what you're
yeah,
buying it for is you buy the disc, you rip it, and then you put it on your server and either stream it over the network or, you know, on on a disc, either externally or internally on the drive bay. Let's see. Let's Get Physical Company is strange. They're affiliated with this other company that have high-end media player Magnetar, and their device you have to pay for. Yeah. So they also do. So they do Rayvon. I think it's Rayvon, which I'm actually getting one of their players in too.
oh,
So
nice.
they do Rayvon, they do Magnetar, and they also do Arvolution now. So yeah, it's interesting. Greetings from Denmark. Wow. Thank you for tuning in. What time is it there? Time to get some food, guys. Have a great stream. Appreciate it, Techno Dad. Thanks for the support.
Thanks, Jana.
Yeah, and everybody, make sure I know we say this a lot, and you probably get tired of hearing us YouTubers say this, but make sure you like this video because that's the only way that YouTube is going to, it's one of the ways that YouTube will push it out for the algorithm. If you don't like it, then YouTube thinks people aren't interested in it, and then they don't push it out. So I know live streams don't get watched as much as like dedicated videos, but it works the same way. If you like it, if you engage, YouTube sees that, the algorithm says, oh, people like this video, they're engaging, let me push it out to more people. So let's see. Does the PD NAS got them in trouble? Yeah, I think that's pretty much common knowledge now. The difference between the Zadoo Z2600 and the 2000 is only dual HDMI out in the 2600. Yeah. Yeah, there's really not much like from the Z9X and the Z20 Pro, basically the exact same thing. It's just the Z20 Pro has the internal drive bay. The Z9X doesn't. After the Z20, I think once you start moving up, you get like a better power supply, and then on some of them, like you get the HDMI in, and then you get like maybe I think one of them might have dual hard drive bays. Wasn't vinyl supposed to die 40 years ago? Cassettes never went away completely, and CDs. Yeah, I know exactly. So you never know. I mean, discs aren't dead yet, but anything can happen. Just because Best Buy is a big player. Like I said, I've been shopping there. I've bought probably 99% of my discs that I have at Best Buy. So that's the only reason why I even go in there. And I only go in because now you have to. Like before, I would just pick it up and just park and do the what is it called? Now I'm losing my train of thought, but I would just park and let them know, hey, I'm here. Curbside. I would do curbside. But now, like, I probably won't even go into Best Buy anymore, which is kind of sad because a few times that I went in there, there's like maybe 2 or 3 people, if that, in there. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Let's see. You can connect a Blu-ray drive to Zadoo and it reads the disc too. Really?
Yeah, that's the
I
new
did not
one
know
for
that it could
me.
do that.
I'm about to go try that one. Then.
The which ones? The new ones or the previous ones? Huh. I wonder how that works.
ProSun has the previous one, so
I need to try that out. I mean, I guess it kind of defeats the purpose of having, because it's like if I'm using the Blu-ray player, I would just use the Blu-ray player unless the Zadoo had like better, if it was like something
the
like the
upscaling,
Oppo where
right?
it would upscale. But I mean, that is interesting if it can really do that.
Yeah, because my Panasonic has great upscaling. My Oppo also has great upscaling. So I don't see why we want to do that. But yeah, it's good to know, man.
It is good to know. I'm interested to see if it actually works.
Yo, what's up, Francis?
First time here, get information all around. Liked. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. And thank you for tuning in to our channels. So yeah, I don't think I mentioned it before, but obviously this is my channel, but I'm streaming this simultaneously on Ike's channel. He's got a channel, Easy Home Theater Tech, so go support him as well. He's got some content on there. We just went to Cedia. I guess you're pretty much. Are you done with your Cedia content?
No, I still got a couple.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
so go check out his channel too. Benches cleared. Are you serious? I was wondering, man, because I've been looking at my app and it's been saying bottom of the eighth for like a long time. So, oh man, that's I mean, and I'm getting texts from like my brother, my friends, and stuff. So, um, yeah, I think I think that's all everything that I wanted to talk about. I should probably it's itching me, or I'm dying. I need to go watch the rest of the Astros game. So, like I said, it's probably only going to be on very long. And I'm probably going to go ahead and end it here. If it wasn't for the Astros game, I would stay on longer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy your Friday evening. Make sure you go check out Ike's channel. Go subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to mine if you're not already. Please like, share,
Yep.
subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Thank you.